Chapter 41. The whole city has changed, and the puppets are raging. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Hao returned to the inn and sighed repeatedly. Today, he visited half of Jiangyang City, but he couldn't find a suitable place to open a medical clinic. If this is the case, maybe I'll feel better. Today, I sent a painting to a mortal. Similarly, not even a little blessing point is obtained. It seems that mortals have no destiny with themselves. Later, when I opened a medical clinic to receive patients, I couldn't treat mortals. The principle to heal: if you are a mortal, then leave it to fate. Sun Hao secretly made a decision. Young master, you should have a rest. Huang Rumeng brewed tea and handed it to Sun Hao. Rumeng, it's very kind of you. Sun Hao took the tea and said words of thanks. Young master, you saved my life, don't praise me for this little thing. Huang Rumeng was in a good mood. Well, after drinking tea, let's play music together, shall we? Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Huang Rumeng nodded with a look of joy. Opposite Sun Hao's room, Ning Mingji sat at the table, his eyes fixed on the painting scroll of Worship Buddha, and his eyes remained motionless. This painting that the young master gave me is really superb. It makes me feel like I'm on the scene. Ning Mingji muttered to himself, the light in his eyes shining brightly. Ah! Suddenly, there was a scream. This screaming sound scared Ning Mingji's body into a shiver, so he quickly put away the painting and kept it close to him. It seemed like someone was screaming just now. Is someone fighting? Better be wise and careful. Ning Mingji carefully walked to the window, opened a gap, looked out the window, and couldn't help but feel his scalp going numb. He saw that there was black fog on the ground spread up and slowly enveloped the city. A vast array was in the sky, and he didn't know when it disappeared. Ah! There was another scream from the black fog. In the black fog, the red lanterns flickered very fast. Seeing this scene, Ning Mingji's body trembled. What the hell happened? Ning Mingji's heart beat violently. As a mortal, he knew very well how difficult it was to live in this vicious world. He ran to the door and quickly bolted the door tightly. After doing this, he was still a little anxious. He found a wardrobe, hid inside, and didn't move. God bless. Ning Mingji prayed in secret. At the moment, there was chaos in Jiangyang City. Help! Who will help me? Don't come over, don't come. Monsters, all monsters. What to do? What should I do? Such a voice rang from all over the city. Ah! No, the desperate screams and cries, like the howling of hell ghosts, made the people horrified. A little girl was crying while running on the street. Mother, the monster is coming to eat me. Help me. Gur! Behind her, a dark puppet stepped forward and stomped on the ground accompanied by a growl. Soon, the puppet is going to catch the little girl and tear her into pieces. At this time, monster, die. A cultivator rushed forward with a sword, aimed at the puppet, and cut it off with a sword. Clang, the sparks flickered, and the cultivator's sword split in two. He stood in place, and his whole person was taken aback. Invulnerable, this is a puppet. He had just finished speaking. Poochie. A sword pierced his flesh. The human puppet's right hand penetrated the cultivator's body directly, pulling out his heart. Kacha, the puppet put it in its mouth and chewed it quickly. Blood spattered, and his mouth was scarlet. When the little girl saw this scene, she was so scared that she fell to the ground and shivered. She was pale, covered her mouth tightly with her hand, and moved back. Howl! After eating the heart, the puppet stared at the little girl and let out a scream of excitement. Then, he quickly pounced on the little girl. Ah! The little girl closed her eyes and let out an ear-piercing scream. In the next second, she would be eaten by monsters. It was unfortunate. However, after waiting for a long time, there was no feeling of a broken body. She tried to open her eyes. When she saw the sight, she looked sluggish. She saw a woman in white walking towards her step by step. Behind the woman, the puppet has fallen to the ground. The woman's robe is fluttering like a fairy. "Little sister, are you okay? Don't be afraid. You are safe." Like the sound of nature, there was an innocent smile on the little girl's face. "Sister Fairy, did you save me?" the little girl asked. "I am a disciple of the Jade Lake Palace, not a fairy." "You call me Sister Jade Lake," said the woman in white. "Sister Jade Lake, thank you. Don't mention it, little sister. Stay here and don't move. My sisters will kill the monster." After speaking, the figure of the woman flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Sister Jade Lake is amazing. In the future, I will also enter the Jade Lake Palace. The little girl clenched her fist secretly. And this spectacle could be seen everywhere in Xiangyang City. After being killed by all the elite disciples in the Jade Lake Palace, the puppets fell down quickly. On the 8th floor of Yuejun Inn, Ning Mingji hid in the closet, shivering. He heard the screams getting louder and louder. In other words, the monster was getting closer and closer to him. "Oh no, the young master seems to be immortal, I must tell him this. Let him be careful." At this thought, Ning Mingji mustered up all his courage and went out of the wardrobe, afraid to make any noise. Howl! Suddenly, a strange cry came from downstairs. It sounded like a ghost howling, which made people feel creeped. Ning Mingji was so frightened that he almost fell. He opened the door, quietly came to the corridor, looked down, and found no abnormality. Suddenly, "Help, ah!" A scream, particularly harsh. A weird man covered in blood was holding a bloody head and ate it. A tragic scene that cannot be portrayed. Ning Mingji almost fainted in shock. Howl! The monster roared more and more. The black fog also gathered more and more. A pair of blood-red eyes looked down through the black fog. It was like a red lantern, crimson and terrifying. "This is a human puppet, this thing is dead, damn. Young master, run, run, run." Ning Mingji's voice was shaking, so small that he couldn't hear himself. The black fog soon enveloped the whole Yuejun Inn. Ning Mingji couldn't tell the direction at all. He could only run to Sun Hao's room based on the direction from his memory. Ah! Help! All around, the sound of begging for mercy and screams kept ringing. It was getting louder and louder. Just like those puppets, they were running up quickly. "No, I must tell the young master as soon as possible." Ning Mingji's heart seemed to jump out and beat violently. Suddenly, he looked sluggish, and his hair stood up. Endless fear spread throughout his body. He saw that in the black fog in front of him, two blood-red eyes stared at the back of his head. Ning Mingji closed his breath and turned around slowly. When he turned around, he couldn't help but sink into hell, and his body drenched in sweat. Endless despair poured all over his body. Chapter 42. In perfect harmony burn all the evil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Meanwhile, in Sun Hao's room. "Well, drink tea. We will play music together later," Sun Hao said. "Yes, young master." Xuanhuan nodded with a look of joy. When she was about to sit down, her face changed dramatically. "Damn evil race, how dare you come to the city to wreak havoc and seek death." Xuanhuan was preparing to move. She hurriedly withdrew the expression on her face, showing a trace of fear. No, not only the evil race but also the blood demon race. There is even an aura that is much stronger than me. If I act rashly, I'm afraid it will attract the attention of that person. At that time, I will be defeated. And the young martyr will have to take action. If this is the case, his Dao heart will definitely be damaged. This is absolutely cannot be allowed. I can only keep the young master safe and keep him out of trouble. After some thought, Huang Rumeng made a decision. With a wave of her right hand, an invisible wave of air enveloped the room, and outside sounds were blocked entirely. Rumeng, I seem to hear a scream just now. Did you hear it? Sun Hao asked. Scream. Huang Rumeng pretended to be calm, listening with her ears upright, and then shook her head. I hear nothing. Sun Hao listened carefully for a while, then smiled slightly. It seems that I heard wrong. Come, drink tea, after drinking this cup, and we will play the guqin. Yes, young master. It's over, it's over. Ning Mingji slumped to the ground, his entire face filled with despair. Around him, lantern-like eyes were staring at him. Throughout the 8th floor, the screams were continuous, quickly and suddenly stopped. Presumably, the young master also died in the hands of the monster. Now, I have only myself left. If I can cultivate, I won't have fallen into this situation, and I am unwilling. Ning Mingji hugged his head with both hands, and the whole person curled up into a ball. The next second, he will be torn to pieces by these monsters. Then, being eaten by them. Roar! There was a loud roar as all the monsters moved at once and rushed towards him. Ah! Ning Mingji let out a scream, seeing that the monster was about to pounce on him. At this time, Zeng, came a guqin sound. All the monsters looked stagnant, and their eyes were red and dim. Zzz, the black fog around evaporated. Rar, a monster wakes up and rushes in the direction of the sound. The other monsters roared and followed. Zeng zeng, the guqin sounded continuously. Every sound wave rushed towards the monster. Rar, the monster roared, struggling frantically, but couldn't advance further. As the guqin sounds become more and more rapid, the puppet gradually calmed down. They all fell to the ground. Their bodies, like boiling water and melting snow, quickly dissolve into a pool of pus, flowing on the ground. Ning Mingji's body trembled lightly and screamed loudly. After waiting for a long time, there was no pain of his body being torn. He tried to open his eyes, seeing the scenes before him, completely blank. Dead, all the monsters are dead. Could it be because of this guqin sounds? Ning Mingming took the courage and went around in the Yuejun Inn. He found that in addition to pus and stench, the ground was full of dead bodies. Finally, Ning Mingji stood outside Sun Hao's room, his eyes gleaming. This is the young master's room, intact. It seems that he is okay. Destroy the monster with the guqin sound and blow away the black fog. This strength is extremely potent. It seems that young master is not a mortal at all but a cultivator. A master of Dao. It's not too early or too late to save me when I'm in the most dangerous time. It's wise and unforgettable. Ning Mingji muttered, standing outside Sun Hao's room, trying to knock on the door but afraid of disturbing. Forget it. I'll come and thank him next time. Ning Mingji walked back to his room and let out a long sigh of relief. He opened the window and looked at Xiangyang City, but his pupils contracted. He saw that Xiangyang City was completely shrouded in the black fog. There was an invisible airwave shrouding Yuejun Inn where he was staying. Within 2 meters, the black fog could not get close. The young master is controlling the sound of the guqin and it has not spread out. This strength, he is definitely a peerless master. Why do you want to send me a picture of worshipping Buddha? Thinking so, Ning Mingji opened the picture scroll and began to look at it. The competition platform. Chen Daoming stared at his right hand blankly, staring at the same place. At this moment, a strange laugh came. There was a dark shadow, erratic. Finally, it turned into a man. The man, with half skeleton and half human face, looked terrifying. He is Xie Jun, the evil monarch. He took the jade bottle, opened the bottle cap, and after seeing the contents, he laughed heartily. Haha, sure enough, rank 9 profound spirit pill, a good thing, good thing. This kind of thing should be enjoyed by me. Xianxia said, laughing again. No, he's a human puppet clan. What? A puppet clan? Isn't he a member of the evil race? My God, the evil race is coming, run, help. After being stunned for a while, the cultivators in the audience were in chaos. Many people squeezed the crowd and ran out. On the other side, Lord Lu Ruo looked at Xianxia, and his fat body was trembling slightly. His face was full of fear. Array! Master Lu Ruo boldly shouted. He mustered up his courage and shouted loudly. Boom! Dozens of golden armored guards beside him moved all at once. The golden light flew up from the golden armor guard, forming a golden shield, covering the whole body of Lu Ruo. Then, the shining armor defended Lu Ruo and slowly backed away, without the will to fight at all. Regarding these, Xianxia did not care at all. In his eyes, there was only the best spirit pill. Chen Daoming looked at Xianxia, his joints rattling. You can't take the young master's belongings, die. After speaking, Chen Daoming slowly drew out his long sword. The sword sounded, and the airwave shook out, the entire space looked as if it was solidified. Like a tsunami, infinite sword intent followed Chen Daoming's movements and quickly rushed towards Xianxia. Soon after, Xianxia felt like a giant mountain was pressing down. Even breathing was hard. He closed the jade bottle and looked at Chen Daoming. In his eyes, he was a little surprised. Sword intent, a boy in the nascent soul realm, who knows how to manifest sword intent. God is helping me, your body, I want it. Xianxia licked his lips as if looking at a treasure. At this moment, Chen Daoming completely pulled out the long sword in his hand. An invisible broadsword quickly condenses into shape. Aiming at Xianxia, he slashed over. It was silent, but it contained infinite power. What? Sword intent transformation. He actually practiced to this level, what a genius. This is a bit troublesome. Xianxia's face was full of solemnity. He used all kinds of protective measures that can be used quickly. Whoosh, the invisible sword arrived quickly. Slashed the evil monarch at once. Obviously, the sound was very subtle, but it shook the cultivators around, their ears were tingling, and their orifices were bleeding. Even the shield on Lord Lu Ruo was constantly shaking, and it would break apart at any moment. Bang! The evil monarch flew upside down like a broken kite and rained blood in the sky. Help this website grow by joining our Patreon to read up from chapter 43 to 73. Chapter 43. The blood fiend appeared covering the sky. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. Boom, Xianxia, the evil monarch, hit the ground back and forth, smashing a human-shaped hole. Pooh, he struggled to get up and spit out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Chen Daoming with a tragic smile. Being only a nascent soul realm cultivator and forced me to such a degree, even if you die, you could laugh proudly in the world. Come out, black puppet. Xianxia waved his right hand, and a teleportation vortex appeared in front of him. A black puppet with blood-red eyes came out of the vortex. A piece of black armor is attached to his whole body. Or in other words, this black armor grows on his body. It exuded a metallic luster, it looks like a humanoid mecha, indestructible. Black puppet, stop him. Xianxia shouted with his right hand pointing to Chen Daoming. After the command. Crack, frequent bone friction sounded. The black puppet's head rotated in a circle. Xiao, two blood-red rays of light, breathtaking, stared directly at Chen Daoming. Boom. Boom. The black puppet stepped on the ground, shaking dust everywhere, and rushed towards Chen Daoming. Humph, come on, let's kill each other. Chen Daoming snorted coldly, with the long sword in his hand flickering. A series of invisible sword auras condensed in front of him quickly. Chen Daoming and the black puppet are fighting against each other, boom. 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 All kinds of metallic collision sounds keep ringing. The black puppet's body, like a diamond, was indestructible. The sword chi slashed on him, leaving only slash marks, and even the skin could not be broken. Boom, the explosion sounded continuously in the center of the battle. The ground was torn apart from time to time, and the dust skyrocketed. Under the black fog, the cultivator could not even capture their figure. On each face, all that was left was the color of horror. Lord Lu Roa hid in the corner, constantly wiping the cold sweat from his head. Is this still an attack by a nascent soul realm cultivator? I'm afraid it's equal to the perfect void transformation realm. It's terrifying. Fortunately, I am far away. Lord Lu Roa muttered to himself, his hands folded, and kept praying. Suddenly, boom. There was a loud explosion. Chen Daoming and the black puppet's body flew upside down at the same time. At the corner of Chen Daoming's mouth, blood spilled. He looked at the black puppet, and his fighting spirit rose. Happy. Chen Daoming's eyes sparkled, and he took out half of the hatchet from the space ring without any rush. As soon as this spirit weapon came out, Xie Jun looked stunned. What? Hatchet. And it's half broken. Boy, is it possible that you want to use a hatchet to deal with this black puppet? Xie Jun sneered. Chen Daoming did not answer. He looked at the black puppet, and the corner of his mouth raised. Next, the game is over. Ha, the game is over. You are the one who is over. Black puppet, stop him for me. I'll refine him into a human puppet. Xie Jun shouted loudly. Boom. The black puppet rushed towards Chen Daoming again. Huh, Chen Daoming smiled coldly and lightly waved the hatchet in his hand. The sky changes color. All the light disappeared at this moment. In the endless black fog, a white light flashed. The white light looks very ordinary, without any abnormalities. There rang a sound which seemed to distort the space. At this moment, the light was restored everywhere. Seeing the scene before them, everyone was stunned. The black fog all around has evaporated. Only Chen Daoming stood there in front of everyone. In front of him, the black puppet stood motionless. Bang, the black puppet's body slowly split apart. With the center of the puppet's eyebrow as the center, it became halved in two and fell to the ground. One move, the black puppet was dead. This is impossible, absolutely impossible. Xie Jun kept shaking his head, unwilling to believe the scene before him. He knew how strong the black puppet was. Even if it was a middle-grade spirit weapon, it couldn't hurt the puppet's body. Not to mention the nascent soul realm cultivators, even those in the void transformation realm, or even the strong individual in the ascension realm, couldn't destroy the black puppet in a short time. His strongest puppet just died here, like that. No. An unwilling cry sounded. This boy must die. You must die for me. Xie Jun's eyes were blood red, and he looked at Chen Daoming, clenching his teeth. In this case, I will summon all the puppets and see how you will deal with them. Xie Jun sneered. His face changed significantly when he was preparing to move. He sensed that his puppet was dying quickly. How did that happen? This is impossible. Xie Jun kept shaking his head. Every puppet was invulnerable. How could there be a group of cultivators who can kill puppets in this small Jiangyang city? This is unreasonable. Could it be that the news that he was about to attack Jiangyang city leaked and that the Supreme Court people were killing his puppets? No way. Xie Jun looked bitter and kept shaking his head. Panic appeared on his half-human face. Looking up, he saw Chen Daoming had already stood in front of him and grabbed the jade bottle. He picked up half of the hatchet and pointed at him, how can you take the things belonging to the young master? Do you have any last word? You want to kill me? Xie Jun smiled coldly. It looks like you have finished saying your last words, then go to hell. After speaking, Chen Daoming picked up the hatchet, pointed it at the Xie Jun, and slashed it. Om, heaven and earth a shock. The sky was clear and then dim again. Time freezes, space stilted. A white glow slowly fell from the sky and slashed at the evil monarch. Seeing this scene, Xie Jun's scalp went numb. Endless chill flooded all over his body. Help me, Shui Sha. After exhausting all his strength, Xie Jun shouted this sentence. At this time, heaven and earth changed their color. The wind and cloud were everywhere, infinite vitality, born out of nothingness. In the blink of an eye, the whole competition platform was completely enveloped. There was a tremor. The white light chopped onto the blood fog, causing ripples. The blood fog burns into black smoke. However, the blood fog rushed forward and confronted the white light. Finally, the white lights dispersed, and the blood fog was as thick as red paint, crimson and terrifying. The blood fog quickly condensed and turned into a man's appearance. He was the blood fiend, Shui Sha. Whoosh, blood evil spirits surged all over his body. Anyone who touched it was like sinking into hell and their whole body trembling. So useless. It's a shame to be hurt like this by a baby in nascent soul realm. Shui Sha said. Brother Sha, this boy is not simple. You have to be careful of the hatchet in his hand. Xie Jun said. Hatchet. Shui Sha smiled slightly and fixed his eyes on Chen Daoming. The gaze was like a hell stare. Chen Daoming's back was run down by chill. He looked at Shui Sha, his face full of solemnity. What to do? The 2 strikes just now are the limit. Unexpectedly, this blood demon could easily block me with a single blow. This is troublesome. Chen Daoming's thoughts turned sharply, and he did not think of fighting Shui Sha. Shui Sha waved his right hand, and Chen Daoming trembled uncontrollably with the hatchet in his hand. In the end, the hatchet flew upside down like a cannonball and fell into the hands of Shui Sha. Read more chapters by joining Patreon, where you can read up from chapter 44 to chapter 74. Your support is what makes this website grow. Chapter 44. Blood Fog, Endless Despair. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There were no surprises, and the hatchet fell into the hands of Shui Sha. Is this what hurts you? Shui Sha looked up and down at the hatchet, yet he found no abnormalities. No matter how he looked at it, the hatchet was still ordinary. Brother Sha, don't underestimate him. Just now, that kid, use it to show an unpredictable skill. Unpredictable skill. Don't be silly. When his words just fell silent, Shui Sha's face changed. He found that the hatchet seemed to grow on his body and could not be thrown away. Moreover, the hatchet was devouring his own power. Damn, what the hell is this? Shui Sha secretly swore. Using various means, he was struggling desperately, however, it was useless. Any method, in front of the hatchet, could only burn disintegrated to black smoke. Ah! Shui Sha showed an excruciating expression, let out a roar, and chopped off his entire arm. Thud, his arm and the hatchet fell to the ground. Such was the sound of fried meat. Shui Sha's arm dried out quickly at speed visible to the naked eye. In the end, it turned into a little black and gray, and after the wind blew, there was nothing left. On the hatchet, a faint brilliance was flowing. Damn it, this broken hatchet has swallowed up 20% of my power. In this case, I'll let you make up for it. Xie Jun swept his eyes, staring at the cultivator. Shoo! The blood fog in the vicinity was flowing quickly toward the cultivator. When a cultivator saw this scene, his face changed drastically, and he ran frantically. However, before he ran 2 steps, he was enveloped by the blood fog. Ah, he let out a scream that pierced the sky. The skin on his body was decaying, and the blood in his body was flying out. It merged with the surrounding blood fog, and you couldn't tell the difference. The blood chi that was drawn flew to Xianxia and merged with his body. His disappearing arm grew rapidly with a speed that is visible to the naked eye. Ah! There were constant screams everywhere. The cultivators kept falling down. In less than a moment, hundreds of cultivators died. The other cultivators were so frightened that they fell to the ground with a look of despair. First is the human puppet, then the blood demon. How can we survive this? Who will save us? I don't want to die, God, save us. Many cultivators knelt on the ground and shivered. However, it was useless. Ah! The screams continued to sound. Cultivators were falling down quickly everywhere. Chen Daoming looked at Xianxia, he clenched his fists, and his veins were bulging. Damn it, damn it. Dare to take the treasure that the young master gave me, you must die. Chen Daoming gritted his teeth and growled. The hatchet seemed to hear his call, trembled frantically, and flew back. A force flowed from the hatchet to the arm, through the meridians, to his dantian. At this moment, he could make another move. Die. Chen Daoming had no reservations and poured all his strength back into the hatchet again. It waved gently. The sky darkened again. A white light quickly fell from the sky. When Xie Jun saw this, he couldn't help but yelling, Brother Sha, be careful. This is impossible. Xuanhuan raised his head, and his face changed drastically. This white light was twice as powerful as the one just now. Damn it! Xuanhuan roared, madly mobilizing his blood chi, forming a huge bloody hand, and grabbing the white light. Black smoke billowed. The bloody hands disappeared quickly. Ah! Xuanhuan roared. He used his strength madly, and with his relentless efforts, he finally wiped out the white light. Not good. Seeing that his move was blocked again, Chen Daoming was helpless and sat on the ground. Damn it, damn it. I lost 30% of my strength. Today, you must die. Xuanhuan looked at Chen Daoming and said bitterly. Brother Sha, let me refine him into a human puppet. This way, it is better than killing him. At this moment, Xie Jun hurriedly stopped. That's good. Xuanhuan nodded, his eyes fixed on the cultivators again. If this is the case, then you will all become my strength. Fighting with me is your supreme glory. After he said that, Xuanhuan waved his right hand. The blood fog was surging. It enveloped quickly toward those cultivators. Whoosh! Anyone who was covered by this fog would have their blood burst out, and the blood would flow out of the skin uncontrollably. Flying into the sky, mixing with the blood covering in all directions, they couldn't distinguish each other. No, don't. Help. I have worked hard to cultivate, my lord, let me go. Ah! Such a voice kept ringing. The whole scene was like a Shura hell, terrifying. Like cutting wheat, all the cultivators kept falling down one by one. Lord Lu Roa, who saw this scene, let alone rescue the cultivators, collapsed directly to the ground in fright, shivering. What the hell is going on? The evil race has eyes on it and even teamed up with the demon race to deal with a small Jiangyang city. Are they trying to kill the entire Jiangyang city? What to do? Who will save us? Lu Roa muttered to himself and began to pray. Soon after. There are less than 8,000 cultivators left. At least 2,000 cultivators had died in Xuanhuan's hands. Ah! The screaming continued as the cultivators fell into pieces. No one could stop him. What strong blood chi, just what I want. If this goes on, I will not only recover but also break through. Xuanhuan was laughing with his face turned upwards, like a lunatic. However, bold blood demon, dare to invade the human race and seek death. A loud shout came from the sky. Then, two figures slowly fell from the sky. These two people were Luo Luyen and Su Yiling. They stood in the air, staring at Xianxia coldly. Perfect void transformation realm. Xianxia looked at Luo Luyen with a look of fear. However, he soon recovered. He grinned. Two female dolls, are you here to become our food? Humph. Luo Luyen snorted coldly. Her right hand flickered lightly, and it was full of charm. Dnav om whoosh, the air vibrated, and the blood around him evaporated into nothingness. Xianxia flew out like a broken kite. Pua, Xianxia spit out blood. He was seriously wounded in one blow. How is it possible? Xianxia muttered to himself, his face full of disbelief. The fairy has come to save us, great. They are from Jade Lake Palace. What, the 7th class power Jade Lake Palace? They are here. We are saved now. Thanks to the fairy for saving our lives. All the cultivators knelt down and bowed their heads at the two women. Well, get up. You all leave this place first. Luo Luyen said. Yes. The cultivators got up one after another and fled out one by one. Chen Daoming also struggled to get up, followed the crowd, and walked out. To be honest, I can give you a good time. Luo Luyen stood in front of the blood evil spirit, coldly said. Just by yourself, you alone want to kill me too. At this point, Xianxia laughed. Master, don't watch the show, come out soon. Otherwise, you will never see the disciple again. Xianxia yelled. Read more chapters by joining Patreon, where you can read up from chapter 44 to chapter 75. Your support is what makes this website grow. Chapter 45. A Sea of Blood Coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wujuan, I think the author made a typo, it's supposed to be Wujun, in. Ding, blessing point plus 80. Ding, blessing point plus 100. In Sun Hao ears, the prompt sounded continuously. He completely ignored them. At the moment, he was playing the guqin earnestly and performed together with Huang Rumeng. Immediately after playing the guqin, Sun Hao opened the blessing point panel. Above, it showed impressively 3780 blessing points. By playing the guqin here, I gained more than 2000 blessing points. This is not a dream, is it? Sun Hao looked at the blessing point panel, and his face was full of surprise. If so, wouldn't it be possible to gain more blessing points by playing the guqin here every day? However. Ding, blessing point plus 100. At this time, there was another sound. Hearing this, Sun Hao was not happy at all. This shows that the blessing value he just obtained has nothing to do with playing the guqin. A moment later. Ding, blessing point plus 120. There was another sound. There was no rule in the blessing point that he had received. Sun Hao shook his head and sighed. It seems that it was almost impossible to find out the way to harvest the blessing point. Suddenly. Boom, Sun Hao's heart throbbed. An inexplicable panic rushed to his heart. Young master, shall we play another song? At this moment, Huang Rumeng asked. Sun Hao waved his hand and shook his head for a while. Stop playing. Let's take a break. After speaking, Sun Hao stood up and lay on the chair. Boom. Boom. Boom, his heart beats more violently, entirely out of his control. He pressed his chest and looked terrible. Young master, what's the matter with you? Huang Rumeng asked. I always feel anxious. Did something happen? Sun Hao asked. When Huang Rumeng heard this, her face changed slightly. Young master, there should be nothing wrong. You think too much. Huang Rumeng said. No, I need to be quiet for a while. After speaking, Sun Hao walked to the desk and picked up the Heart Sutra. I want to chant the scriptures. Will it affect you? Sun Hao said. You must be joking. You read, I'll listen. Huang Rumeng said. Good. Then, Sun Hao picked up the Heart Sutra and read it. Listen Sariputra, this body itself is emptiness and emptiness itself is this body. This body is not other than emptiness and emptiness is not other than this body. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. His voice formed a series of scripture symbols that the naked eye could not detect and quickly gathered on him. After turning a few times, it flew out through the crack in the door. The Sect Grand Competition Arena. Master, stop watching the show, come out quickly, otherwise, you won't see the disciple. Xuanhuan yelled. After this sound. Whirl, the sky vibrated. A boundless sea of blood hung upside down in the sky, slowly falling down. Above the sea of blood, countless bones are floating and sinking in it, rippling with the waves. Endless evil spirit were rushing everywhere, like the Milky Way pouring down from the ninth heaven. Everyone in Xiangyang city felt their heads rumbling. Their souls seemed to be shaken apart, extremely uncomfortable. An indescribable fear spread all over their bodies. Most people tremble uncontrollably. Even Luo Liuyan's legs trembled slightly at the moment, and her face changed drastically. Disciple, go. It's too late. Master, I'm not leaving, I want to fight with you. Su Yiling said. Stupid. Luo Liuyan yelled, this person is by no means simple. He has a sea of blood. It is very likely that he is one of the 10 warlords of the Blood Demon clan. The evil spirit appears. The young master can't calculate it. You hurry up, go to the Great Demon Mountain and tell the young master about this. Luo Liuyan said. Master, no, let's go together. Tears rolled on Su Yiling's face. Hurry up, or it will be too late. Luo Liuyan shouted. It's too late. Suddenly, there was a sound. A man in black clothes appeared in front of Luo Liuyan. Luo Liuyan didn't realize when he came. Master. Seeing the man in the black clothes, Xuanhuan saluted respectfully. His face was filled with joy after the disaster. The man in black gave a bloody look and shook his head for a while. Useless things, I always ask you to practice more. You don't listen. You can't even deal with a female doll in the void transformation realm. His voice was cold. Hearing this, Xuanhuan lowered his head and looked ashamed. It looks like you are the real evil. Luo Liuyan looked at the man in black and said. The man in black looked at Luo Liuyan and smiled slightly. Yes, you have a vision, but are you ready for your last words? He, shouldn't I be the one who says this? Luo Liuyan's mouth raised. Oh, can you turn up any storms? I will give you a chance, whatever means, just use it, said the man in black. Will you? Luo Liuyan smiled slightly, flicking her right hand up and down, looking like she was carrying a teacup, incredibly natural. Are you going to have tea? Still want to, the words did not finish. His face changed drastically, and the hair on the back of his head stood up. He looked up, and his pupils constricted. He saw an invisible giant hand pressing from the sky. The power of terror caused him to explode with sweat. This giant hand, if it hit him directly, he would indeed be injured. The sea of blood, the magic treasure that covers the higher sky, preventing others from fleeing. It was too late to call it back now. Run. Without much thought, he used his physical skills to run away quickly. During the flight, he continually used various protective shields. Not good. The man in black looked back and found that he had forgotten to run away with Xuanhuan. If he wanted to go back and save Xuanhuan now, he would be killed by the hand of great love. If the girl could use this trick indefinitely, wouldn't he be broken in her hands? Boom, the hand of great love pressing down rapidly. Wherever he went, layers of air exploded, and explosion continued to sound. Master, save me. Great Lord Di Sha, help. Xue Sha and Xie Jun spoke at the same time. The man in black smiled bitterly when he heard this but did not come back to rescue them. No, no, two cries of despair came to an abrupt end. Boom. Two loud noises were heard as the two demon bodies split apart. The blood qi on Xue Sha's body evaporated. Even with the technique of resurrection, there was no possibility of resurrection. As for Xie Jun, his body disintegrated into powder in the first moment. Not good. Luo Luyen cried secretly when he saw the man in black had escaped. Without thinking about it, he took Su Yiling and ran away quickly. Want to escape? At this moment, there was a loud sound. The man in black appeared in front of the two of them, stretched out his palm, and blasted towards Luo Luyen. Seeing this scene, Luo Luyen's face changed drastically. Without any hesitation, she took out a picture scroll from the space ring and opened it in front of her. When those red berries come in springtime, flushing on your southland branches, in the picture scroll, a woman walked out of the room and through the air, only one step, and then she stood in front of the man in black. Seeing this scene, the face of the man in black changed dramatically. Dao Rhyme Manifestation. How is this possible? https://plumvillage.org/about/tik.not.han/letters/tik.not.han.new.heart.sutra.translation/http /wengu.tartari.com/wg/wengu.php.l equals Tangshur no equals 227. Read more chapters by joining Patreon, where you can read up from chapter 45 to chapter 77. Your support is what makes this website grow. Chapter 46. The Buddha appeared and suppressed everything. You are listening at novelfull.audio. May you pick more, for my sake, as a symbol of our love. After the woman said these two sentences, she gently pressed her finger forward. Whoosh whoosh, red berries flew away like raindrops in the sky. Red berries overgrew in the eyes of the man in black. Not good. His face changed significantly. With a move of his mind, blood rushed out of his body. Blood fog enveloped his whole body like mercury slurry. The sea of blood shook. A blood column, hovering down from the sea of blood, went straight into the top of his head, merged with his flesh and blood, and spun around him quickly. Howl, the roar continued. It was like a storm from a distance, which made people's scalp in pins and needles. Boom. Boom. In the picture, the red berries in the woman's hand quickly exploded onto the blood fog, hitting layers of ripples. The sound of terrifying explosions was endless. Whoosh, in the painting, the red berries in the woman's hand were endless, like a rain of arrows, constantly shooting. The blood fog in front of the man in black kept exploding and evaporated to ashes. The aftermath lifted the ground. The buildings in the competition ground split layer upon layer in the storm and exploded into dust, covering all sides. The whole Jiangyang city was shaking violently. From a distance, it was like a doomsday storm, with endless terror. Those who survived gawked at the storm in the competition ground, scared and stunned. Many people bowed to the ground, folded their hands together, and prayed secretly. Damn it! Which immortal did the painting? It is so terrifying. Why is my luck so bad? I met this treasure in the first battle. The man in black repeatedly roared, frantically drawing the sea of blood power to fight against it. No, if I go on like this, I will be consumed by her and can't hide any more. The man in black shouted to the sky, "Come out, blood immortal." After this shout, the sea of blood shook. A colossal skeleton palm stretched out from the sea of blood, peeking down from the sky. Covering the sky and the sun, the evil spirit was rolling. The pressure caused the people to breathe hard, and their hearts stopped suddenly. The infinite pressure pushed many cultivators to the ground, shivering. Om, the skeleton's palm pointed at the woman in the painting and pressed directly. Boom. There was a loud noise. In the picture, the woman's body split into light and shadow and disappeared. The acacia picture becomes a blank paper completely and loses spirituality. Kill them. The man pointed to Luo Luyen and the others and shouted. Om, the skeleton's palm changed direction, aimed at Luo Luyen and others and pressed down quickly. The expressions of the two women changed drastically, struggling frantically. Alas, it was useless. Any means in front of the palm of the skeleton wouldn't work at all. The two women were pressed on the ground, unable to move. They didn't even have a chance to get Linksy diagram. I failed to complete the young master's test. Master, it's not your fault. Who can think that Xiangyang City actually has the Sea of Blood? Yes, the young master didn't calculate it, and the human race is in danger. They closed their eyes and wait for death quietly. On the other side, Chen Daoming looked at the sky with the skeleton palm, and his face was full of despair. In front of such a strong enemy, the nascent soul realm was not even cannon fodder. Now, it was extremely difficult to move even his fingers. Young master, I am incompetent and disappoint you. Chen Daoming closed his eyes and wait for death quietly. No, no, around Chen Daoming, a group of cultivators shouted unwillingly. There is despair on his face, watching everyone was going to be dust. At this time. Listen Saraputra, this body itself is emptiness and emptiness itself is this body. This body is not other than emptiness and emptiness is not other than this body. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. A loud voice was coming from the vanity. The golden scriptures were flying all over the sky with golden light. It looked like countless golden flying butterflies. Om, suddenly, Chen Daoming's space ring vibrated. A Buddha statue drilled out from the space ring. Shoo, a flash of light, the Buddha statue rushed out quickly and stood quietly in the sky, wrapped in billions of scriptures. Om, every scripture pierced into the body of the Buddha, there will be a shock every time. The body of the Buddha statue, as the scriptures penetrated it, rapidly became larger. In an instant, the Buddha statue was incarnated thousands of meters, standing proudly in the sky with dazzling golden lights, shining brilliantly. It seemed very sacred. The Buddha statue floated high in the sky, slowly opening its mouth. Listen Saraputra, this body itself is emptiness and emptiness itself is this body. This body is not other than emptiness, and emptiness is not other than this body. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. A line of scripture was spat out from the mouth of the Buddha. Every sentence was as powerful as a great word. The palm that was pressed in the sea of blood disappeared quickly at speed visible to the naked eye. Howl, a loud roar came out from the sea of blood. The voice was piercing and seemed to suffer endless pain. Damn bald donkey, why don't you stay in bliss? You have to take care of this. It's true that our blood demon race is so bullying, isn't it? The sea of blood shook, bursting out countless screams. The palms of the skeletons came out of the sea of blood and pressed towards the Buddha statue. The entire world, as if losing its color, only blood and gold was left to fight. Die bald donkey, die for this seat. By a loud roar, thousands of skeleton palms, overwhelming, blasted toward the golden Buddha statue. The golden Buddha did not speak but just read the scriptures. Om, golden light spread from the Buddha statue to the surroundings. In an instant, it hit the skeleton's palms. Bang, these skeleton palms, which covered the sky, instantly collapse into dust after touching the golden light. Howl, piercing roars one after another, spread from the sea of blood. The entire sea of blood was shaking frantically as if pouring down. Buddhist relics are the empty phase of all laws, neither born nor destroyed, neither dirty nor clean, neither increasing nor decreasing, the Buddha statue stretched out his palm, aimed at the sea of blood, and waved it away. A golden shadow palm was quickly coming in, covering the entire sea of blood. No, an unwilling roar sounded. Boom! There was a loud noise. The sea of blood evaporated directly into nothingness. All the skeleton in the sea of blood were blasted into fly ash. Looking at this scene, the man in black was paralyzed in shock. Impossible, impossible. His face was pale, and he muttered to himself. How could his most potent magic weapon be easily broken? Suddenly, he moved. In the form of rainbow light, he fled quickly. However, from the eyes of the Buddha statues, 2 golden lights burst out. No, the man in black roared and struggled crazily. But it was useless. He could only watch the golden light struck his body, and his body was burnt to black smoke. Whoosh, a drop of blood, separated from the body, flew away. Another golden light arrived in an instant. Burn this drop of blood into black smoke. At this point, the man in black ultimately died, unable to resurrect. The Buddha statue swept in all directions, with the golden glows on its body, shining continuously. In the end, countless scriptures flew out from the Buddha's body, returned to the void, and disappeared. Swish, the broken arm Buddha statue quickly became smaller. In less than a moment, the palm size changed. Shoo, the broken arm Buddha turned into a golden glow and flew back to Chen Daoming's hand. In the sky, the sun was shining, and it's still shining. Everything just now seemed illusory. Join our Patreon and read, It Turns Out I Am a Dao Ancestor up to Chapter 79. Chapter 47. The young master is insinuating I be a monk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yue Jun in. Ning Mingji looked at the scroll in front of him, frowning and thinking. What the hell does a master like the young master mean by giving me a scroll of painting? Could it be that this is suggesting that I can embark on the road of cultivation? How could I be so stupid? What's the use of me reading for so many years? Ning Mingji murmured, with a bitter expression on his face. At this time, a voice could be heard. Sariputra, color is not different from emptiness is not different. The painting before Ning Mingji's eyes began to change immediately. It was as if he were in the picture scroll, standing on a mountain peak. Looking at the scene in front of him, his face was shaken. He saw a huge Buddha with a dazzling golden glow looking at him. There were words from the mouth of the Buddha statue. Every sentence contains the sound of the great Buddha. Hearing it with his own ears, his mind roared. At this moment, Ning Mingji was in a state of unrivaled harmony between man and nature. Because he was a mortal, his strength had not risen. But his mind was improving rapidly until the scripture stopped. Only then did Ning Mingji wake up. His eyes were full of shock. He pinched himself hard. Ning Mingji, you are so stupid. Look, doesn't the figure in this painting refer to you? The young master tells you that you must go to the temple as soon as possible. And this temple, following the scriptures read by the young master, evolved to the golden light of Buddha. Isn't it a hint for you to become a monk and practice Buddhism? It's so obvious, but you are still stupid and ignorant. What a stupid man. He muttered to himself, you should immediately become a monk, follow the young master and practice Buddhism. After speaking, Ning Mingji picked up the scissors and cut his hair. The Sect Grand Competition Arena. Chen Daoming held the Buddha statue, and there was a storm in his heart. His body trembled slightly, and tears welled up in his eyes. Young master, you have considered everything and learned that today, I would have this calamity. So, you gave me this Buddha statue to let me survive this calamity. Young master, your great grace, Dao Ming will remember it in his heart and never forgets. He slowly put the statue away and let out a long sigh of relief. It's too dangerous. It's really too dangerous. If I had been greedy and careless and took another statue, the ending would never have been like this. I must give this elixir to the young master as soon as possible. Chen Daoming murmured, opened the jade bottle, and after confirming that the elixir inside was in good condition, he breathed a sigh of relief. Then, he walked out of the arena and walked away quickly. Luo Luyen looked at Chen Daoming's back with an overly complicated expression. It's him. No one else saw it, but Luo Luyen clearly saw that the Buddha statue in the sky flew back to Chen Daoming's hand. In other words, Chen Daoming was the one who killed the evil spirit today. A little guy in the nascent soul realm. Saved the whole Jiangyang city. Is he a certain Buddhist master? Regardless of this, I must first tell the young master of the Blood Demon clan's action. This matter is the top priority. Thinking like this, Luo Luyen looked at Su Yiling, disciple, call the other disciples to handle the matters in this place, the two of us will go to see the young master at once. Su Yiling stunned in the same place, taking a few breaths before she calmed down. Everything today is terrifying. Top masters such as blood demon warlords have all appeared. He was someone they couldn't fight against. Fortunately, there were experts in Buddhism and Taoism who took action to suppress it. Otherwise, they would really have lost it and died. Yes, master. Su Yiling nodded. When the two women were preparing to move. They're here. At this moment, a loud scream sounded. Immediately after, a group of cultivators surged in like a torrent. In the blink of an eye, they surrounded Luo Luyen and Su Yiling. Fairy, thank you both for your life-saving grace. Today, without the two you, I would definitely die. Bodhisattva, this is a cold spirit grass. Although it isn't worth much, this is to show my feeling. Two goddesses, you two are like my second parents, great benefactors, this piece of phlogistic crystal is just a bit of my good intention. These cultivators took out their most precious treasures and presented them in front of Luo Luyen. This. The two women were utterly stunned. Although they indeed have a hand in saving them, it was the sword cultivator that really saved everyone. If they accept these things, wouldn't they admit that they saved everyone? How would she dare to take this credit? Dear fellow Taoists, you must have misunderstood. The one who saved you all is someone else. Luo Luyen said. Female Bodhisattva, don't be humble. At this moment, Lord Lu Ruo stood out from the crowd. If you two hadn't appeared in time, I would have been beaten to death by Xuanhuan. Lu Ruo said. Yes. Another cultivator stood up, the one who saved me is none other but the fairies of the Jade Lake Palace. If you hadn't brought them to save us, I would have become the puppet's food. Yes, goddess, you are so kind-hearted and save everyone, but you still don't admit it. I admire this state of mind. It's a female bodhisattva who saves suffering and doesn't care about fame and fortune. Please wait for me to worship. All the cultivators bowed down in front of Luo Luyen and began to kowtow. Luo Luyen's face scrunched up. What they said was true. But these, in fact, had nothing to do with her. If it wasn't for the young master figuring it out and pointed out to her, how could she have saved them? Everyone, there is really a misunderstanding. We came here because an expert instructed us. He told us that the evil race would invade Jiangyang city so that we can make arrangements in advance. Luo Luyen explained. Hearing these words, they suddenly realized something. It turned out that an expert actually directed Jade Lake Palace. So how strong was this expert? To even be able to calculate all this, his strength must be really terrifying. Such characters, if they could get acquainted, it would be a stroke of shocking good luck. Female Bodhisattva, could you tell us where the master is? I want to visit him to show my gratitude. Lu Ruo said. Absolutely don't. Luo Luyen's face changed slightly, and she quickly stopped him. The expert likes to be quiet. If you go, you will definitely disturb the expert. Hearing these words, they nodded. Fairy, the spirit grass, please help me pass it to the expert. Female Bodhisattva, this elixir, please help me pass it on to the expert. They took out their treasures in turn and handed them to Luo Luyen. Luo Luyen sighed secretly and shook her head. How could this thing enter the young master's eyes? She showed a bitter look and said, everyone, I appreciate your good intentions. However, do you think the experts lack these things? Luo Luyen said. As soon as these words came out, the cultivators nodded together. That was true. In their eyes, these things were peerless treasures. However, in an expert's eyes, it was a waste and had no effect at all. Sending a pile of rubbish to the expert. It would undoubtedly cause the expert to dislike them. It would be self-defeating. Thank you for the advice, Fairy. All cultivators nodded and bowed with cupped fists. Chapter 48. Scared to death, this medical clinic is cancelled. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuajun in. Sun Hao closed the Heart Sutra and was secretly relieved. After reading the sutra, the feeling of palpitations disappeared cleanly. His whole person was extremely relaxed. It seems that the system's function to force him to chant Buddhist scripture lies in this. In addition, he just got more than 1.200 blessing points. It's just too uncomfortable. Young master, are you feeling better? Huang Ruming looked at Sun Hao, and her eyes were full of worship. Just now, the young master actually killed the general of the blood demon tribe by reciting the scriptures. This method and this strength was shocking. Moreover, looking at his appearance, he didn't know this at all. In this way, his heart was not damaged, and he saved the entire Jiangyang city. This made her unable to imagine at all. Much better. My whole body is very comfortable. Sun Hao said relaxedly. That's good. Huang Ruming nodded. Ruming, let's go, continue to look for a store. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Huang Ruming followed closely behind Sun Hao. Creak. The door opened. Seeing the scene before him, Sun Hao almost vomited. He saw dead bodies littered the hallway. Decapitated head, split brain, and the intestines and stomach flow out. Sun Hao knew one of the men whose head was broken. This man was the man who served him. Yesterday, he was fine, yet today, he was no longer here. There was pitch-black pus spreading on the ground, and a strange smell came on his nose. When he smelled it, he did not feel well. What's going on here? What happened? Sun Hao was stunned. Young master. At this time, a baldy quickly ran over, looking at Sun Hao with excitement. He was Ning Mingji. Seeing this bald head, Sun Hao came to his senses. His face was full of doubts. He seemed to know this bald man, but he didn't seem to remember. You are? Sun Hao asked. Young master, I am Ning Mingji. Yesterday, you gave me a painting. After speaking, Ning Mingji picked up the picture scroll and raised it in front of Sun Hao. Hearing these words, Sun Hao understood. It turned out that it was the scholar he met yesterday. Let's talk inside. It smells terrible here. Sun Hao resisted the discomfort and walked into the room. Okay, young master. Ning Mingji followed behind them. The door was closed. Why did you shave your head? Sun Hao asked. Young master. Ning Mingji was about to answer and a voice rang in his ears. The young master experiences the world as a mortal, and you must never break it. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. At this time, Huang Ruming's voice reached Ning Mingji's ears. Hearing these words, Ning Mingji was relieved. He almost caused the doubt in the young master's heart. It was a close call, very dangerous. In this way, the young master's identity was unimaginable. No wonder. No wonder he was so strong. The sound of the guqin alone could kill people. This means, must be a peerless immortal. Young master, I figured out something, so I decided to become a monk. Ning Mingji said this instead. Hearing these words, Sun Hao looked stunned. People in this world had strange ideas. Yesterday, he talked to him about poetry and painting, and today he would become a monk. I can't figure it out. I just can't figure it out. Brother Ning, there are so many people dead outside here. What's going on? Sun Hao asked. Ning Mingji did not answer directly. Instead, he glanced at Huang Rumeng. Only then did he begin to respond. Young master, something big happened in Xiangyang City. Something big. What is it? Sun Hao asked. The evil race invaded Xiangyang City, and many people died tragically. The puppets killed these people. Ning Mingji said. Evil race. Gnawing the living. Isn't it too provocative? It is in the center of Yangzhou, Xiangyang City. This evil race dare to come. What about the other area? This world is too dangerous. Sun Hao's heart trembled, but there was no change in his face. What is a human puppet? Young master, the human puppet is the puppet clan's secret methods to erase the soul of a living person and turn them into an unconscious puppet. This kind of puppet, after a series of medicalizations, has a flesh like a sword and is very powerful. There are some powerful puppets that can destroy the world and the earth. They are extremely powerful. Ning Mingji added. Hearing this, Sun Hao got the chill, and his body went cold. A puppet is so powerful. If it's a bunch of puppets, who can resist them? It's terrifying. Does the evil race only attack Yuejun? Sun Hao asked. Of course not. Ning Mingji shook his head slightly. Young master, there are traces of puppets in the entire city. Last night, many people should have died. Hiss, Sun Hao took a deep breath quietly. What about security? Don't you need protection? This is totally a purgatory, okay? I can't stay in this place. I'm scared to death. This medical clinic won't open here anymore, and it's better to go back to where I live to be safe. If I encounter this monster, I can at least hide inside the farm. The farm was a secret realm, and ordinary cultivators cannot get in without his consent. Thank you, Brother Ning, for telling me. Excuse me, I have something to do, so I have to go back first. Having said that, Sun Hao looked at Huang Rumeng. Rumeng, pack things, let's go home. Yes, young master. Huang Rumeng nodded and began to pack up. One by one, she put everything in the space ring. Young master. Seeing Sun Hao about to leave, Ning Mingji hurriedly stopped him. Brother Ning, do you have anything else to say? Sun Hao asked. I want to follow you, can I? Ning Mingji asked. Follow me. With a look of confusion, Sun Hao frowned. You said you want to become a monk. Why do you follow me? I want to hear you chanting the scriptures. Ning Mingji said. Scripture chanting. Do some people like to listen to his chanting? This guy, don't tell me he wants to become a monk just after hearing my chanting, does he? Look at his head, it seems to have just been shaved, and it is still bumpy in some places. He must have shaved it himself. Finally, I found a guy who likes to listen to my chanting. If someone listened to Buddhist scripture, it would be less boring and even had a sense of accomplishment. Alright, but I won't stay in Xiangyang City. If you want to listen, come to my residence. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. As soon as he looked up, he saw Huang Rumeng taking Sun Hao into the air quickly. In the blink of an eye, they turned into a black spot and disappeared. Young master, where do you live? Ning Mingji shouted only to find his own echo. The young master asked me to go to his residence but didn't tell me where to live. Why is this? Is this a test? It must be like this. Only when I find the place where the young master lives will he truly teach me. Ning Mingji muttered to himself, thinking about every word Sun Hao had said. However, after he filtered Sun Hao's every sentence, he couldn't figure out where Sun Hao lived. I am so stupid. The young master is testing me. Where is it? Isn't it not in words, but in paintings? It must be like this. Thinking so, Ning Mingji picked up the picture scroll and looked at it carefully. He went straight back to his room and sat like a wooden sculpture. Didn't know how long it took, I see. Isn't this painting a mountain in the Great Demon Mountains? And this temple, judging from its location, should be in the south. Doesn't it mean the southern position of the Great Demon Mountains? When he gave me this painting, he pointed out everything. After the young master's deep meaning, only then I, Ning Mingji, wake up, I'm really ashamed. Young master, wait for me. I will find your residence. After speaking, Ning Mingji returned to his room and started to pack up. Join our Patreon to read more chapters, up to chapter 82 for It Turns Out I Am a Dao Ancestor, and help us maintain this website. Chapter 49. The Peerless Fierce Dragon in the Ghost Dragon Lake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Located 500 kilometers south of the Great Demon Mountain, there was a lake with a radius of several kilometers called the Ghost Dragon Lake. Legend has it that there was a ghost dragon inside, swallowing the sky and the earth with endless terror. Within 10 miles of Ghost Dragon Lake, no one dared to approach Ghost Dragon Lake on this day. A fisherman with a fishing net on his back and a harpoon in his hand carefully. He cautiously reached the edge of Ghost Dragon Lake and looked at it with panic on his face. No matter what, my family is going to starve to death if I can't catch any fish. The head dropped a big bowl and scar, a metaphor which means that he's not afraid of anything. After that, the fisherman carefully walked to the edge of Ghost Dragon Pool, picked up the fishing net, and threw it vigorously. Splash, the fishing net fell into the water, causing ripples to spread. The fisherman took the fishing net and pulled hard and got a large net of big lively fish. There were smiles on the fisherman's face. Sell this net of fish. I don't have to worry about living for at least a month. The fisherman murmured, carrying the net of fish on his back, and walked back. However, there was a rapid change happening at this moment. Goo, huge bubbles bulged in the Ghost Dragon Pool. The pool of water was bubbling as if it were boiled. The entire ground also trembled violently. The fisherman seemed to have noticed the strangeness, turned his head around, directly scared still. He saw a head shaped like a dragon's head, standing in the air like a vast mountain. Those two blood-red eyes showed a chilling light. The Supreme Court doesn't even dare to step a foot here, yet, a mortal like you have the guts to court death by coming here. After finishing speaking, the giant dragon head opened his big mouth and sucked hard. The fisherman uncontrollably flew backward to the dragon head that sucked him. He was chewed a few times and swallowed. Then, the giant dragon's head sank into the water. The water was calm again as if nothing had happened. On the shore, the fishing net was lying there quietly. In the sky south of Ghost Dragon Pool, a flash of rainbow was flying fast. These rainbow lights were Sun Hao and Xuanhuan. Oh no, I forgot to tell Ning Mingji where I live. Blame me, I was so nervous. I just wanted to escape, so I forgot about it. Now that I have been flying for a long time, even if I hurried back, Ning Mingji must have left. Finally, some people are willing to listen to my own chanting, but it turns out to be like this. Forget it, let's go home first. Sun Hao relaxed and began to explore the surrounding scenery. Suddenly, his eyes were shining as he saw the lake. The water lake was rippling with blue waves and gleaming, making those who saw it feel comfortable. Let's go to the pool to play for a while. Sun Hao pointed down and said. Yes, young master. The two people quickly landed. Sun Hao stood by the lake, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath, revealing a look of enjoyment. It's a good place. I wonder if there are any fish in it. It's been a long time since I had eaten fish. I don't know if it is possible to catch a fish in such deep water. Thinking of this, Sun Hao glanced around and saw a fishing net and a harpoon not far away. Who left this? Just when he needed it himself. Such a good person. Rumeng, let's catch a fish here and go back. I haven't eaten meat for a long time. Sun Hao said. I'll listen to young master's instructions. Huang Rumeng smiled and nodded. Rumeng, it's better if you watch it by the side, I'll fish it out. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Sun Hao picked up the fishing net, walked to the lake, spread the net, and threw it quickly. Then, he pulled up the fishing net vigorously. However, nothing was caught. A fierce flood dragon opened his eyes at the bottom of the lake, and two sharp gazes shot out. Damn, another bug comes again. Is my place somewhere where you can come and go as you please? After speaking, the fierce flood dragon rushed away like a flash of lightning. On the edge of the lake, it's impossible, isn't my fishing in the supreme realm? Why didn't I catch a single fish? It's such a big lake, logically speaking, there should be fish. Big fish, come for me. Sun Hao shouted, spread the fishing net, and threw it into the water. Behind him, Huang Rumeng looked at Ghost Dragon Lake, her heart beating violently, and her face showed anxiety. There's something down here. Huang Rumeng's divine consciousness scanned the bottom of the pool, and her scalp exploded, and she quickly retracted her divine consciousness. There is a peerless ferocious flood dragon below, which has reached the 5th stage ascendant realm. It is more terrifying than the evil spirit, not good. Huang Rumeng looked at Sun Hao and ran towards him quickly to prevent him from getting off the net. However, there was no time. The fierce flood dragon rushed up, aimed at the fishing net, and rushed over. Little bug, fishing on this site is looking for death. There was a cold killing intent in the eyes of the fierce flood dragon. In the next second, his face changed drastically. He saw that the fishing net was growing fast, and it wrapped him up in an instant. You want to trap me only with this? You must be looking for death. The fierce flood dragon roared vigorously and slammed into the fishing net. Bang, a very faint voice sounded. With this collision, the fierce flood dragon was dizzy and almost fainted. What the hell is this? The fierce flood dragon's face changed dramatically and struggled wildly. However, it was useless. Every time he touched the fishing net, it would give him a feeling that his soul was torn up. In the whole western region, he was a supreme existence, and no one could match him. Every month, he would devour an 8th class clan or sect, and even the Supreme Court could not control it. When even the Supreme Court didn't dare to control him, would he fall into the hands of a mortal? Unwilling. The fierce flood dragon roared and struggled frantically. However, it is useless, its body, following the fishing net, shrunk and became smaller and smaller. Finally, it was fished to the surface. Rumeng, look, it's a big yellow eel. A surprised voice came. The fierce flood dragon couldn't help being angry when he heard someone call him an eel. You are the big eel. Your whole fucking family is big eels. However, what frightened the fierce flood dragon was that what it said was just squeaking, just like the scream of real eels. My God, who is he, who is he? What does he want to do to me? The fierce flood dragon's face was full of horror. Young master, you are really amazing. Huang Rumeng praised Sun Hao earnestly. I'm flattered, Rumeng. We have good luck tonight, and such a big eel can't be eaten in one meal. Sun Hao said. What? Want to eat me? Oh my God. Don't you know that I belong to the dragon clan? Although I have not been transformed into a true dragon, the identity is here. Even if you are strong, what do you count as in front of the dragon clan? Let me go quickly. The fierce flood dragon roared loudly and roared again repeatedly. In Sun Hao's view, it was an eel jumping wildly in the big net, and it didn't help. Hey, don't jump. It's no use. A big hand reached into the fishing net and grabbed the fierce flood dragon. Want to catch me by just relying on your strength as a mortal? See if I don't swallow you. This idea has just taken shape. In the next second, the fierce flood dragon's face changed dramatically. He found that he was already in the hands of this mortal and could not struggle. What scared him even more, was that all his strength was sealed and could not be used. It's over. This was the fierce flood dragon's last thought. Huang Ruming stared at this scene blankly, shocked for a long time without moving. Even the dragons were to be eaten as eels. In this world, besides the young master, who else dared to do it? Asterisk. If you like what you read, consider joining our Patreon, help this alive and contribute to more steady release. We have a new editor joining us, she is Aka.Hannah. She will work on I Am an Evil Sword editing start from chapter 1, here and some words from here. Pen name. Aka, Hannah 27 years old, half nocturnal, loves to read. A homebody who needs novels and manga like the plants need sunlight. Wishing I could understand all languages that existed, yes, including aliens' language, and be able to teleport around the world. Remember to click Patreon and be our patron. I have applied for Google AdSense to no avail several times. Does anyone know how to fix this? Drop us a comment if you do. TBH, I am website illiterate, that is also why the website interface is so simple and not too user-friendly. I start this website from zero knowledge. Chapter 50. The young master has already controlled everything. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies, it was 2 days in an instant. In the past 2 days, the fact that the two groups of demons rioted in Xiangyang City spread throughout Yangzhou and spread to the western regions with Yangzhou as the center. The Jade Lake Palace was called the Immortal Sect by the cultivators, and the name Luo Luyen was passed down as a female bodhisattva. With a kind heart, it is our duty to save the world. This highest quality character was a model for all cultivators to learn. The evil race comes to commit crimes, not afraid of danger, not in fame and fortune, and this mindset was simply terrifying. When talking about it, many cultivators shed tears of emotion. To the expert who guided Luo Luyen, it was even more impressive. Many people guessed that the expert behind Luo Luyen was one of the 9 immortals of the human race. Some people say it was Daoist Ling Su, some people say it was Yujizi, and some people say it was Elder Yuli, and so on. However, these immortals had not appeared in the world for tens of thousands of years. Everyone overturned all speculations. Finally, the cultivator named this master as the godly cunning immortal. After adding oil and vinegar, embellishing a story, godly cunning immortal become omnipotent immortal. It was even more fascinating for the Buddhist and Taoist masters who saved the whole of Xiangyang City. The news of the birth of Elysium spread all over with Yangzhou as the center very rapidly. For these, Luo Luyen naturally did not know. At this moment, she and Su Yiling have arrived near the great demon mountain. Master, the young master experienced as a mortal. Don't it seems inappropriate to tell him the news about the blood demon clan's appearance? Su Yiling asked. What's inappropriate? We didn't intend to mention it and didn't break the young master's Dao heart. He advises us surreptitiously. We just need to understand it. Besides, among the 9 immortals of the human race, I have not seen the other immortals except for Taoist Roashi. They must have gone to the immortal world. And now Taoist Roashi is in the middle of a breakthrough. It is inconvenient to disturb her. Currently, only the young master can turn the tide. Luo Luyen said. Master, is there really an immortal world in this world? Su Yiling asked. This. Luo Luyen was stunned and shook her head slightly. I don't know. Maybe there will be. If there is an immortal world, it should be pretty. There must be many delicacies. Su Yiling's eyes flickered. You just know how to eat. First, strive to improve your strength. Well, we should go down. The two women landed on the ground, looking at the mountain path. They couldn't help but froze. They saw a man with a long sword on his back, walking up the mountain on foot. It was Chen Daoming. It's him, Chen Daoming. Luo Luyen recognized him at a glance. She learned from Master Lu Roa that he was the sect master of the overlord sect Chen Daoming. How could he be here? Does he know the young master? He came here, what the hell is happening? A series of questions popped up in her mind. Luo Luyen looked confused and quickly chased after him. Sect Master Chen, wait. Luo Luyen shouted. Chen Daoming frowned when he heard the voice behind him. Looking back, his face changed slightly. It turned out to be Luo Luyen, the master of Jade Lake Palace. Her move was earth-shattering and almost wiped out the evil spirits. Thinking about it now, there were still some lingering fears. Palace Master Luo, what is your order? Chen Daoming said, clenching his fist. Sect Master Chen, I just want to ask, do you know young Master Sun Hao? Luo Luyen said. What? You know young Master Sun Hao? Chen Daoming was startled. That's natural, and the young master has a brilliant plan. He told me to go to Jiangyang City to arrange everything. Next, Luo Luyen recounted her own affairs. Chen Daoming listened inwardly, his eyes gleaming brightly and uncertain. The young master was wonderful since he was already in control of everything. Truly a celestial being. It's just a pity that he didn't count that the demon race would make a move. Fortunately, you kill the evil spirit. Luo Luyen said. Hearing this, Chen Daoming's face was ashamed. Palace Master Luo, you are wrong. Chen Daoming said. Wrong. Luo Luyen's face was puzzled. First, the young master is clever and knows everything in the world. It has been calculated as early as a month ago. Chen Daoming said. What? Luo Luyen and Su Yiling exclaimed at the same time. It was calculated a month ago. This method, I am afraid that even immortals cannot do it. The faces of the two women were full of shock. Secondly, the one who killed the evil spirit is not me but the young master. After speaking, Chen Daoming took out the broken arm Buddha statue. This thing is what the young master gave me to deal with the evil spirit. As early as a month ago, the young master started to lay out the plan. I am dull, and I didn't understand the sun's intention, so the Buddha statue came out by itself and directly suppressed the evil spirit. Next, Chen Daoming repeated the test he had encountered. Luo Luyen let out a long sigh of relief, secretly saying that it was dangerous. At the same time, there was a touch of shame on her face. The young master's magical calculation had long since passed the sky and the earth. She even suspected that the young master hadn't counted the arrival of the blood demon clan. Really, I was a fool, a dumbass, so stupid. I dare to doubt a character such as the young master. My brain must not be working. Luo Luyen scolded herself 10,000 times inwardly, just to comfort herself. The young master was clever in calculation, but the purpose of setting this game was to test me. The young master's method was unimaginable. As long as one person was greedy, then this game could not be solved. The life and death of oneself were small, but the elite disciples of the Jade Lake Palace and even the whole Jiangyang city were big. Fortunately, everything went through without risk. Now that I think about it, I have a lingering fear. In the future, there must be no disrespect in front of the young master, let alone doubt. Luo Luyen murmured and made a secret decision. Afterward, she looked at Chen Daoming and clasped her fist. Sect Master Chen, I am very impressed by your understanding. If you don't despise me, how if we become fellow Taoists? If we meet the young master test, how about we overcome them together? Palace Master Luo, oh no, fellow Taoist Luo, I have this intention in my mind too. It is a great honor to be able to get your guidance. Chen Daoming respectfully clasped his fists. The faces of the two of them were full of joy. They looked at each other and smiled, and everything was silent. Master, what are you talking about? How about we go up the mountain first? Maybe we can have a meal at the young master's place. Su Yiling said. Yiling, you're not young anymore. You have to take your time, don't just think about eating all day long. Passed the young master's test, gained an amazing good fortune, and improved by leaps and bounds. In the future, you can eat whatever you want. Luo Luyen began to persuaded her patiently. Master, I know, let's go. After speaking, Su Yiling smiled sweetly and ran to the mountain quickly. Luo Luyen sighed lightly and gestured to please, fellow Taoist Chen, please. Fellow Taoist Luo, please go first. Chen Dao said. All right. Luo Luyen nodded and walked forward. Chen Daoming followed closely, and his eyes were gleaming. In the future, with the guidance of such seniors, I will definitely avoid many detours. The young master's test was so difficult, and the senior could realize it. Her understanding has reached its peak. In the future, when the young master is testing me, I must ask her for advice.